to Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the 1964 original Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, The Amazing Spider-Man series. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and I'm very excited for this issue, the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter. Not only is this the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter on the cover, but this cover was one of the 32 that appear in the comic collection from the 2000 video game Spider-Man. So that's pretty cool. And not only do we get Spider-Man versus Kraven for the first time, we also get a reappearance of a previous foe in the Chameleon. Whenever I'm having a rough day or I'm reading some of these new comics that sometimes just don't satisfy me, I always go back to this series, 1964 Spider-Man. To me, this series is like a nice hamburger and cold Coke. You know exactly what you're going to get. You know you will like it and you will be satisfied afterwards. Spider-Man, upside down, you can see he is strong but not overly muscled up, hanging by only 2 fingers, talking trash to some bank robbers. It's like that first gulp of the cold Coke. It just hits you in the feels. Not sponsored by Coke. Spider-Man has got 3 of the 4 robbers webbed up, but the 4th is a little more wily, maybe more to him than meets the eye. What an interesting concept, a color-changing suit by using gas? It's that dreadful Chameleon. He's escaped and even fooled Spider-Man. Chameleon has put his foot down, says Spider-Man is too much of a pain in the ass and has to go permanently. Chameleon knows he can't take Spider-Man on his own, one-on-one, and decides to recruit an old friend to help him with the job, a la Kraven the Hunter. I guess Kraven the Hunter is world renowned. Everybody's waiting his arrival at the pier. Dude is kind of a big deal. Kraven walks off the boat like a freaking 80s rock star. It's those leggings, man. Wild. Jameson wants that exclusive interview, but all of a sudden, a crate full of gorillas falls, and the gorillas are now on the loose everywhere. Of course they are. Peter fought some zoo animals before, so he quickly changes into his Spider-Man gear, ready to save the day. But Kraven has beaten even Spider-Man to the punch, tossing snakes into a barrel, fist-fighting gorillas. Dude is off the chain. This is the first clue as to the trickery of Kraven. He drugs up the animals he hunts to make them easier to deal with, but Spider-Man didn't see it. Kraven has the crowd amazed. This is super duper impressive. A gorilla is like 350 pounds, and Kraven lifts it over his head like a boss. Dude is strong as hell. Spider-Man realizes Kraven's got it and has to get back into the game to get Jameson those sweet picks. But just like Peter does, he didn't get those picks. Jameson is pissed and now Peter is in a pickle with his girlfriend Betty and Liz. Old Pete is really dropping the ball so far. Dang, back in the day a boss could talk to an underling any type of way, calling Peter useless. Jameson asks Kraven, who's he here to hunt? And Kraven replies, Spider-Man. At least Peter was there and knows what to expect, a fight. And at least Jameson addresses the elephant in the room. Hunting human beings in America? You just can't say you're gonna do that, man. Kraven don't care. Meanwhile, Betty is still icy at Peter for Liz flirting with him. Peter got 99 problems, and that includes a chick. He ain't Jay-Z out here. Just when you think Pete has had enough, even the street sweeper lets him have it. Chameleon gives Kraven a dossier on Spider-Man. It's his best interest for Kraven to be successful and take Spider-Man out so he can continue his life of crime. We learn Kraven the Hunter's super strength is from a secret African potion. Typical. And that he is too cocky, even more cocky than Spider-Man. Meanwhile, Spider-Man is on the prowl. He knows he has to keep his head on a swivel with Kraven in town, but he hears a gunshot. Spider-Man drops in and takes out the goons pretty easily. This was a total setup. Kraven wanted to witness Spider-Man in action in order to better create his ultimate hunt on him. Kraven actually acknowledges Spider-Man's gifts, but still believes he can take him. Even though these drawings are not technically the best art in the world, it shows a lot of movement. There are so many frames of Spider-Man in these old issues. It gives you what you want. Seeing Spider-Man ducking, dodging, swinging, climbing, and fighting. It's all here and it's so fun. Spider-Man accidentally swings to a rooftop where Kraven is, like you do, and Kraven attacks. Spider-Man is still bewildered why Kraven is after him. Kraven is faster than Spider-Man expected and stronger. And Kraven is disappointed. He's looking for the ultimate challenge. He thought Spider-Man would be it, but that is just him being too cocky. Kraven gives Spider-Man a dead arm, like when you punch your little brother a little too hard in the arm. But now Spider-Man is kind of pissed too and is ready to give Kraven the business. Kraven just got a reality check. Spider-Man is winning with only one hand. Here comes the dirty trick. Kraven hits Spider-Man with his toxin, knocking Spider-Man down a peg or two. Spider-Man fell lazy. The two decided just call it for now. Kraven now knows his tricky potion weakens Spider-Man, but Spider-Man also got some juicy picks to make up for his failure earlier with Jameson. This Kraven potion is super potent. Peter's hands are still shaking even after his shoulder has started to heal. Kraven tells Chameleon he is so happy because Spider-Man is even more powerful than he expected. So in killing him will be Kraven's greatest victory. Kraven and Chameleon plan their next trap for Spider-Man while Peter is feeling much better from the toxin, but his darn hands are still shaking. Wow, that Kraven toxin is powerful. This is super exciting couple of panels. This is the first ever mention of Mary Jane Watson. Aunt May and Mary Jane's aunt set them up on a blind date. Great! Peter already has a girl, and he has these shaky hands, and he has Kraven after him, plus homework. My boy Pete is book solid. I love Aunt May. She's totally clueless, thinking Peter's so fragile. If she only knew. Peter just can't take a breath. He's getting attacked at every turn. First by his girl Betty. She's still cold and snarky to him over Liz flirting with him earlier. And now he has Kraven the Hunter in his office. Dude has to have his head on a swivel. Seriously. The pics Peter gave to Jameson just ain't tickling his fancy. He wants some Spider-Man versus Kraven pics. At school, Peter's shaky hands proved to be a perfect yet accidental cover. Nobody expects nerdy, puny, and now clumsy Peter Parker to be the amazing Spider-Man. Flash takes every opportunity to try and bully Peter, but let's talk about the unnamed student with the blue hair. What's up with that? Dudes didn't have blue hair back then. I love how everyone is so clueless regarding Peter Parker. Peter is so focused, he doesn't even acknowledge Flash's snarky comment. Flash and his crony think it's because Peter is scared of him, but it's just because Peter has bigger fish to fry. Spider-Man doesn't have a bedtime. Peter quickly comes up with an idea to use one of his spider trackers on Kraven to ensure he always has a bead on his whereabouts. But those darn shaky hands! He can't use his webbing to swing. Spidey has to just jump from building to building, parkour style for now. Kraven is even more super cocky. He thinks he's controlling the hunt. We'll see about that. Spider-Man sees Kraven just sauntering into the park, but there is something fishy going on here. His Spidey senses aren't going off. This seems too easy. Yeah, it's a trap, dum-dum. Two Kravens? Nah, clearly the one up front is the Chameleon, the master of disguise, and the one in the back is the true Kraven the Hunter. But now they have Spider-Man in a squeeze play. Even without his Spidey senses, Peter's intuition is kicking in. I tell you every time, act on those instincts, but it's too late. Kraven's springing the trap. A spider caught in the net? How fitting. But Spider-Man is lightning fast and super smart. He's found the weak point in the net and gets himself free. The Chameleon uses a drum to distract Spider-Man while the real Kraven, with panther-like speed, attaches some sort of metal devices to Spider-Man's arm and leg. Kraven is a bit of a cheater here, using these devices and toxins to win, but hey, that's the game he plays. These gauntlets have a bell in them and are magnetic, so Spider-Man is severely handicapped here so far in this fight. Spider-Man has to bounce for now, try and figure out a way out of these gauntlets. The bell in the gauntlets lets Kraven stay on the hunt. Spider-Man quickly avoids another trap. He needs to act fast and get rid of these gauntlets. Spider-Man turns off the park lights, trying to buy him some time, but the bells keep Kraven on his ass. Spider-Man finally uses his big brains and disables the bells with his web fluid. Spider-Man attacks! But it's only the stupid chameleon. The real danger is still out there. All of a sudden, the hunter becomes the hunted. The spider light is on Kraven, and like a little girl, Kraven makes a mad dash into the bush. Kraven doesn't know about the spidey senses and thinks climbing a tree will help him hide. Wrong. Spider-Man is hunting the greatest hunter of all time and has him running scared. Kraven decides running time is over. It's fighting time now, belly to belly. Kraven is fast, but Spider-Man is just faster, and his shit talking is only making Kraven more pissed off and off his game. Kraven is super shocked at Spider-Man's speed. He realizes he can't beat Spider-Man and decides to make a final run for it. But like Spider-Man's other foes, Kraven ends up caught in Spider-Man's web. Easy peasy. Peter uses Kraven's key to get out of the gauntlets and lets Kraven know the cops are on the way to pick him up. Just another day for the Spider-Man. Not only that, but the cops get the chameleon as well. A 2-for-1 for the cops. You know what they say, cops love a big bust. Jameson is finally happy, and his reward to Peter? A special chocolate bar? How about some cash, my guy? Poor Betty, ready to make up with Peter, but Pete has that hot blind date tonight with Mary Jane. Spider-Man seems to get easy wins. Well, he ain't spilling any blood this issue, but poor Peter is still the loser. Mary Jane cancels on him. Betty won't go out with him, and even Liz is out with Flash. Peter couldn't buy a win with a bag full of cash. And interestingly, instead of jail time, they're just deporting Kraven and the Chameleon. Well, they got off pretty easy, didn't they? What a great little issue. So much fun seeing Spider-Man in action. Stay tuned for the next issue where we will see Daredevil for the first time in a Spider-Man issue. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you real soon. Peace.